Hello, everyone, and welcome to the I Am Love Builders show. We are your hosts, Casper and Cheryl Stockham, and we're so glad that you tuned in with us today. We want to welcome all of you and give a great big shout out to our broadcast partners. I Am Love Builders is a show that's dedicated to all things dealing with relationships and communication. We would like to see your relationships, your marriage thrive and prosper and to flourish. For that, we would like for you to entertain being an MVP.
Yes.
That's the most valuable partner in your marriage or relationships. That's because here at I Am Love Builders, we firmly believe that if you are not having fun, you are
You're
not
not
doing
doing
it
it
right.
right. All right. We're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. And we have season 1 of Winning with Love. Our TV show is live on the Zandra TV network. Season 2 will be live later this year around December-ish time frame. We're going to have a premiere, I believe, on the 4th of December. Yeah, that's going to be exciting. So that's coming up very, very soon. Man, this year it just flown by.
Ooh, once
Oh,
October hit,
I
it
know it
just like,
just slid right
what
on.
happened?
Yeah, yeah. We have a book series that's available on Amazon. It's the Mastering Adam, which is a book I wrote. The Mastering Eve is a book Cheryl wrote, and then they kind of got together and wrote Mastering Adam and Eve. So we have that book series available on Amazon, and actually it's not available as a series on Amazon, but all the books are available on Amazon. And we're going to be providing the series through our website, so you can get more information on that by reaching out to us. We have a lot of media services we provide with Zandra TV Network. We have TV advertising and TV and movie production, podcast promotion, you name it. So a lot of great services we provide through Zandra TV Network. We also have a micro network. So if you want to get your content on TV, this is a great way to do it. It could be existing content. Like, so if you have a podcast and you want to get that podcast more exposure on TV, we can put it on our micro network. So you can reach out to us and we can get you details on that. But it's a great way to really get more exposure for your current podcast
And expand your audience.
Expand your audience for sure. Absolutely. And we have a Go Shopping Network that's coming live on Zandra TV Network. Another way for you to get your product or service to get more exposure.
That's right.
It's kind of like the Home Shopping Network, but for smaller quantities of items. So like any kind of product or service or book or course, anything that you want to offer in smaller quantities, this is a great way to do it.
Yes, it is.
And then we have our Facebook group, Most Valuable Partner Network on Facebook. This group has 300 folks on there now.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a great little group for just information that we give out for married couples and singles when it comes to relationships, different tips and strategies. And we post our show on there as well. So a lot of great stuff you can get on the Facebook group. And we have an app that is morphing into a different platform, but you can get the app now, or you can get on the waiting list for the app right now by going to our website. And it's a free app, but if you get on the waiting list, you get a 20% discount on any upgrades that's a part of that app. So that's a great little program there. And then our sponsors for this episode are Texas All-Stars. These guys have really perfected the crypto mining process.
That's right.
Now, I was kind of familiar with crypto and the fact that I lost money with crypto, but the crypto mining process is quite a bit different. It really is a safer way to get involved with crypto. So 6 months ago, I decided to get a mine with these guys and have them sponsor the show. And it has been a phenomenal investment opportunity. Now, this is not financial advice. We're not financial planners, but getting a crypto mine through Texas Coin and Texas All-Stars is a really good way to go. So I know now you have a miner.
I have a miner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. My daughter has a miner. Our 2 sisters have a miner. And again, you don't have to be an expert on crypto or mining. You just have to be able to just take advantage of the product. So it's a great way to get create some additional revenue coming in for your household. All right. So this, like I said, this year is just
Woo, it's
going
gone.
by. Yeah,
I
it's
mean, this
coming.
is October. We have 2 more
It's
months
the end of October right
in
now. Yeah.
2025, and then we'll be looking right at 2026.
Yeah, yeah. So
Hmm.
what we're gonna do toward the end, actually the month of December, you know what? We've been working so hard, I think, for the past year with all the TV shows and the apps and all that stuff, the
Books
books.
and
Yeah,
podcasts
yeah,
and
yeah. I think we're just gonna take December off. We're just gonna take it off.
yeah,
Yeah.
gotta get a
So
break.
take it off. We'll have some shows playing. Um, throughout those Sundays,
Hmm.
right? We'll have some holiday shows,
Hmm.
and we may pop in every once in a while just to say hi or something. But yeah, I think we should just take it off.
Sounds good with me.
Sound like a plan?
Yes, I think we should like start at Thanksgiving and just take it
Yeah.
off. Those
Right.
last 2 weeks, from Thanksgiving on,
On.
and
Yeah.
then we come back the second Sunday in
January.
January.
Yeah, yeah. But we've got some really great stuff planned for you coming in 2026. The new app will be live and in
Hmm.
effect. Our book series will be out there being promoted.
Hmm.
We've got some workshops we're planning, maybe some retreats in 2026.
Hmm.
So just a lot of great stuff on tap.
It's going to be
And
exciting.
it's going to be exciting, yeah. And we have some great guests that are with us as well. And you're going to hear their story. They have a really great story, but they're on the other side of it. So we're trying to stop people from getting a divorce.
Hmm.
But if you have to get one, they really have some great advice on how to get through that process.
Hmm.
So we're going to be talking about that as well. Yeah, but man,
We're
well,
rolling right along
well,
here. It's moving.
yeah,
The
it's
train is moving.
the train is moving for sure. Yeah, I was trying to think of something else that I wanted to mention. Um, I don't know if it was the series or something. Uh, well, the TV show. Oh, the premiere of the TV show.
Yes.
So we're going to have the premiere of the TV show on the 4th of December. It's going to be a simulcast. It's going to be live online, but also in person.
Yes.
We're going to have it at our church
Hmm.
here in Colorado.
Correct.
So some of our folks that were on the show will be flying in. Our pastors were on the show, so obviously they'll be there.
Yeah.
Going to be their church. So this is going to be a great time for our premiere. And we're going to give you a lot more information about that. We'll be promoting it as well. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring our guests on, and they're going to be talking about their story, sharing that with us, and a lot of great stuff. Let's going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back in just a moment.
Well, which is my camera?
Right there, all the way down.
Oh, okay, I can talk to him. After all, he's my camera. I can talk to him.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Winning with Love with Casper and Cheryl Stockham. We are here with our wonderful guests.
God has been very graceful. Going back to what you stated, it's that work factor.
So we weren't arguing with one another, but maybe we needed to be. Right. Maybe we needed to be getting uncomfortable.
I'd only been saved 11 months. He's been saved since he was 19.
But at the end of the day, I believe in marriage, and I think that it's really important.
You have been watching Winning with Love with Casper and Cheryl Stockham. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are back with the I Am Love Builder Show, Casper and Cheryl, and we have some very special MVP guests with us in studio. I'm going to bring these guys up. We have Becky and Paul Reimer, right? Is it Reimer?
Yes, said it perfectly.
All right. Yes, I met Becky online, I believe, and then we were just chatting. I said, man, you guys got to come on the show. So we're excited to have you guys with us.
Thanks for having us. This is exciting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So please introduce yourselves to our audience and tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Go ahead.
You start.
Well, first of all, I mentioned this to you before. This is the very first time my husband's ever done a podcast, so be a little patient. He is a talker, I promise. But Becky and Paul Reimer and we're excited to be on today because both of us are very for relationships. Although we have been married before. This is my third marriage, and I always say my last.
Right.
Amen.
I can relate to
Yes,
that.
amen. Thank you.
We have a very good joke about that one.
Yeah, and yeah, we've just been married about a year and a half, just over a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
So thank goodness for second and third chances.
Right.
Sure.
Amen.
Right. Well, how did you guys meet?
Yeah, tell us your love story.
Yes.
There you go.
Well, we met online.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, nowadays, I think that's really, or a lot of people meet. It's not the same old as it was when you're a young kid. And, you know, whether it was going to the beach, she says they used to go to the beach, and, you know, the movie theater or wherever, you know, it's just not the same. It is real. And it's really weird. I mean, I was married for 27 and a half years. So
Wow.
it was a wake up call for me. And I mean, I put internet in people's homes every day, but I'm not that technology savvy when it comes to this kind of stuff. So it was, my daughter was the one that got me on some different apps. And so, yeah, that's how we met, was online.
Well,
So they got tired of looking at dad looking sad. So he said, look, man, you got to get on.
well, so what he didn't say to you is he was only divorced for 6 weeks when we met.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
wow.
And so, you know, I've done a lot of dating coaching over my years. And I remember the first time that we spoke on the phone, he that's all he did was talk about his ex-wife for that like hour. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, you're not ready. Like, this is not gonna happen. You know, you need some time. And it just so happened that he called me again. I just thought, okay, have a nice life, you know, and the very next day he calls me and we talk for 6 hours every day for the next 30 days. And then until I moved back here from Hawaii. So, and we met on Christmas Day, actually, is when we actually set eyes on each other at the airport. And
I met her mom first, though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I told him, I said, I'm coming on the airport. I'm actually flying and moving home that day on Christmas. Why don't you just go with my mom? And he's like, you want me to meet your mom before I meet you? And I said, sure. Like, and they love each other. They have a great relationship.
Mom's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
So where are you guys located?
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's home?
We are in central Utah. So we're kind of in a very rural area. My family owned a summer camp for kids 45 minutes from here, and his family has gone past our ranch a million times. So we literally have been doing this for years.
The first time we talked, she was trying to explain where her property was to me, and I'm like, you can just stop. Just stop. I know exactly where your property's at. Your family.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. And what part of Utah is this now?
Central, just outside. We're about 45 minutes away from Capitol Reef National Park.
Okay.
So it's a very beautiful area outside of Richfield, Utah.
Richfield,
Very good.
Yeah. So we're in Denver, Colorado.
So we're not that far apart.
Oh, yeah. No, not far. My sister lives out there in Lone Tree.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I lived in Colorado for about 6 years. That's where I met my ex, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, this is good. We're starting out well. So, guys, okay, so you were both online.
Mm-hmm.
So, Paul, you have been divorced.
Yep.
Just divorced.
Yep,
After
just got
being
divorced. I was 100% divorced because I
6
do
weeks.
not believe in even dating or anything until divorce final. So,
And Becky, you were also divorced as well?
Yeah, I was divorced. And the interesting thing is that I had been divorced just over a year, but I hadn't completed my. I ended up in a really, really long 3.5-year battle in the court case, the second marriage, even though I was with him for a very short period of time. And so that had completed. The interesting story about this is that I never thought I'd ever leave Hawaii. And I kept applying for jobs. I mean, like 45 different jobs, and couldn't get a job that, could sustain me in Hawaii. And by the time I say my former paid the bill, he finally paid the bill. And my girlfriend's like, don't you think that God has somewhere else for you to be, Becky? And I was like, no, like I'm going to stay in Hawaii. And the day that money hit my bank account, I finally got willing and I said, okay, God, I don't care where you send me. Because at that point, I mean, we hadn't met yet. I said, wherever you need me, just please use my abilities and my skills and abilities that I had acquired going through this court case, representing myself for most of it, and to bless other people's lives. And so 5 days later, we meet. 30 days later, we meet in person, and 2 weeks later, we end up in court. He needed support, doing some stuff regarding a granddaughter of his. So he's like, where the heck did you come from?
Well, and the really interesting part is that when I first got on these apps, I'd never been on them before, so I didn't have any kind of filters on the app to where it would, because you can filter it down to 50 miles, 100 miles, 200 miles, whatever. So I didn't have any, and then after 2 or 3 weeks, there was like 650 women on this one app, and I'm like, holy crap, what do you do with that? Like, I don't even remember what conversations you have with one, So I'm like, okay, so I had put it down to 100 miles, and because I was just like, this is ridiculous. Well, how I don't even know how I met this woman, because I had that already set to 100 miles. Well, I don't know if you guys know, but Hawaii's a little more than 100 miles away. Right. And, I'm getting older, and so I have to wear readers and whatnot. But I remember when her picture came by. Now, I have to specify this because I've gotten in trouble for this a few times. And I said, oh, she's kind of cute. Well, you can change that to, oh, she's kind of cute. Yeah. And so she uses that against me. No. But any long story short, I don't know how it happened, but we started talking. And I thought it said Lehigh, because there's a place, a little ways away, and there's a lot of girls there. And so I just thought it said Lehigh. I'm just like, oh, it's another one from Lehigh, no big deal. And it wasn't Lehigh, was it?
It was Lehigh is where I was living.
Felt almost the same.
Oh my goodness.
Hawaii.
The other interesting thing,
we're gonna have to take a quick break.
Okay.
And we're gonna pick this story up right after the break. You're watching
I Am Love Builders.
We have a show called Winning with Love. Sometimes I get it confused. You're watching I Am Love Builders show. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Winning with Love, episode 5, season 6, number 2.
All right, we are back with the I Am Love Builder show. Casper and Cheryl, we have our special MVP guest in studio. We have Paul and Becky Reimer, and we were discussing this online dating and not even sure how you guys actually connected, because she was so far away and you had your filter set for 100 miles. But I think God
Hawaii is a lot further than 100 miles.
Yeah, I think God had different plans. So
I absolutely, God had another plan, because I used to, when I was single between my first and second, which was 8 years, I actually worked for an online dating site doing all their podcasting. Oh, so wow. I interviewed people from all across the country. I probably ended up dating and going on well over 200 dates over those 8 years. Wow. And I swore I'd never do any kind of online dating again. And especially in Hawaii, there's nobody, you know what I mean? Like, so it was a really interesting, that day that we actually met, I was laying in bed and something just, God was like, look, go on the app. And I was like, what? So I was like, I don't do this. I mean, I had signed up and met one guy, went surfing with him. And then, I don't know, I hadn't been on for months and months and months. And I just turned over and I saw this guy from Sigurd, Utah. I was like, Sigurd, like, I know exactly where Sigurd is. Like, I've been through it a million times. And then one of the questions you asked me when we first got on the phone is, he's like, do you think I'm cute? I'm like, yeah, you're totally cute. Are you kidding me? You're handsome. Our granddaughter will not let us tell him that he's cute. He's got to be handsome.
I will say it's a different world. Becky tells me that I'm handsome every day. And I was married 27 and a half years and my next ex never told me once.
Yeah.
So
wow.
He deserves to hear it.
You know, I don't know. I think actually that app was kind of an eye opener too. That many women actually wanted to talk to you, at least would say, hey, I think you're cute, or something.
And he's an amazing man. I knew the moment I set eyes on him at the airport on Christmas Day, 2023, I knew in that moment that he was a good man. And he said to me multiple times, he's like, Becky, how did you trust again so quickly?
Yeah.
After having been through marriage. I'm like, I can only tell you that what I know and what I felt when I saw it, and it now being together for almost 2 years now, Christmas will be 2 years. He really is the real deal. And I'm so grateful.
Yeah. But that's a huge problem for couples, especially ones we try to coach, is the baggage, right? From past relationships. And how do you forgive? And not forgive, but how do you
not carry over the baggage from that relationship into your new relationship?
Yeah.
And I know we tell couples to take the time to really reflect on your last relationship, because no matter how much you think the other person did, how much enormous wrong, we still all contribute. You still contributed to it. And when you go into your next relationship, you want it to be different.
Yeah.
You want it to be better. You don't want the same old. So that means we got to take time to really look within ourselves and make whatever changes we need to make.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the beautiful thing about Becky is she's a communicator. If you guys haven't figured this out, she's a communicator. And so my ex and I, it would be like, if something was bothering her, I could tell it was bothering her.
Right.
I'd say, what's going on? And nothing's wrong. He's fine.
Yeah.
So it was 2.5 weeks. 2.5 weeks was the norm of just tell me what's going on. What's bugging you?
Yeah.
And after 2.5 weeks, she'd finally break down, tell me.
Yeah.
But Becky, it's like, let's get this out. Let's figure this out now. And in fact, it's been a couple times. I'm like, can I have a rain check?
Yeah,
just give me an hour, because she's an over communicator.
Yeah.
I learned through my last experiences. I said to him, look, I've been in marriages where I don't feel like I can express myself.
Sure.
And to me, it's really important. You may or may not agree with what I'm saying, but at least give me the space to communicate it.
Yeah.
So that I think that's a really healthy way, especially when I've coached people when they're having relationships, is that you need to have a level of honesty and massive amount of honesty and respect for one another. And at least if you can say, hey, I don't, or like when he says, I don't want to talk right now. Can you give me a minute? Yeah, of course. So it's, and we're not perfect. I don't ever, even publicly, as much as I praise him in this relationship, we're not perfect. We have our day. We are. So talking about the baggage that we bring, it's interesting. I had a girlfriend of mine who's been single for many, many years. She might be watching this. I don't know. But she said to me, she goes, Becky, I just have a rule. I don't date any man that, has been divorced for less than a year. And I said, first of all, let me acknowledge that I get it. And you would have missed my wonderful husband.
Wow.
Have we had to process some of that baggage together and still continue to process together? Yeah, but we're in it together. We're in the boat together. We're gonna. So a lot of people say, well, I'm not going to date until I heal totally. I'm like, well, then you may miss opportunities, because a lot of that healing work is done in a relationship if you have a level of trust and respect for each other.
And there are a lot of people out there that, like, I talk to women and they're like, I'll talk to you in 6 months.
Yeah.
they don't even want to, until you've been in divorce for at least 6 months, they don't even want to talk to you.
Yeah. And we teach that, though. There's an echo. You said, I don't know how we can. Let me see if I can do this for a second. I'm
Let
just
me
gonna
turn down there. That might help.
Okay. So we talk to couples all the time, and we actually teach them to slow it down a little bit because of what you're saying. But there is something to be said. If you both are working on it together, it's fine. But a lot of times they don't even wait. They're still wounded, seriously wounded, going into the next, and that's a huge
It's a risk.
Yeah.
And they're expecting something different and expecting change. I remember when Casper and I were dating, and we were having our date, and he was telling me his history, his life's journey.
I call it BC, before Cheryl.
That's cute.
And so he was telling me all his failed marriages and his failed relationships, and I was listening. And then when he was done, I said, you do know that the common denominator in all of that failure was you. And then I said, well, what's wrong with you? But the thing is to take the time to at least look at yourself and say, okay. I mean, and everybody's different. Some people might need 6 months. Some people might need 6 years, to get through it. Yeah. And some of them, God has a divine appointment, and he's like, no, I need you guys to come now, because I got a plan, and I need you all to be on page with me.
Yeah.
I have to say, some people may think that because we were married within 3 months after we physically met each other. Yeah. And that I look back, though, and I don't regret any of the marriages that I had, because it made me who I am today. Yeah. I am I told them on multiple occasions, I'm like, we wouldn't have been right if we would have met when I was younger. Yeah. So it's an inside job, right? It's an inside job for every single one of us. And one of the things I really appreciated about Paul is that we are in it together. And the thing that really got me hooked is, before we even met on the phone, he said to me, he says, Becky, divorce is not an option.
There you go.
And I said, that's it. That's what I want to hear, because both of us were not given an option in our past relationship, our past marriages, to even work on it. So it's like, how do you work with that? So I knew that this guy was going to go the long haul with me and was not going to jump out of the boat, so to speak. Yeah. And that I can work with. I can't. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. My ex went to work.
I'm sorry.
Didn't come home.
I'm sorry, Paul. Hold that thought. Hopefully you can keep it. Gotcha. We'll be right back in just a moment. You're watching I Am Love Builder Show. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Oh, it's Janine Emily.
And Mr. Tracy Lee Smith.
Hosts of the national TV show Rockstar Diaries, healing out loud with heart, humor, and harmony.
And founders of Hearts and Sing Productions.
Casper and Cheryl, thank you so much for having us on Winning with Love. What an incredible experience. You two just create such a loving, safe, and joyful space where real stories can be shared with honesty, laughter, and heart.
Yes. Your mission to lead with love is exactly what the world needs right now. And it was an honor to be a part of a conversation that uplifts, inspires, and reminds us that we're all connected.
We walked away feeling encouraged, seen, and even more fired up to spread hope and healing through our own work.
If you're looking for a show that truly lives up to its name, Winning with Love is it.
Casper and Cheryl, thank you again for shining your light so brightly. We are grateful.
All right, we are back with the I Am Love Builder Show, Casper and Cheryl. Hey, was that was it cutting in and out for you guys?
I don't think so.
Awesome. Okay. It was for us. I'm like, oh man, that was all right. So we are back with I Am Love Builder Show. We have Paul and Becky Reimer with us, and we have somebody sent a message here. Let's see. Oh, that's you. Okay. Somebody sent us a message.
Yeah, all I was gonna say is just I was married 27 and a half years. My ex went to work. She never came home. She called me 3 days later and said, I want a divorce. And I said, we can't go to counseling. We can't work on us. Can't do anything. She's like,
Right.
nope, we're done. And I'm like, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
So I don't, her experience was similar, but
Yeah, being a coach, as you guys probably experience this too, is that the number one thing that I have found when I work with people, or even myself, is, for instance, many years ago, 16 years ago, I lost 130 pounds, and that's what catapulted me into the public eye and doing radio, I ended up doing TV and all that stuff. But people would always come to me and say, Becky, what's the magic pill? Like, give me the magic pill for that kind of transformation. And to me, it's willingness. And it's the same thing in a relationship is that if you're willing, we can do anything. Anything's possible. And so unfortunately, we both were not given the opportunity to really, for multiple different reasons. And so that's a lot of processing within ourselves to, when you're not given that option, you're like, okay, so now what? And I always say this all the time, even though I do a lot of divorce coaching, I'm not for divorce. He's not for divorce. However, when it happens, you need to be ready and prepared, or else it's going to be damaging to not only your family, but your kids and your future relationships. And it's difficult. Every situation's a little bit different, but I wish that there was never any divorce out there.
Right.
But I also don't regret my decisions in the relationships I've had,
Sure.
and for what I've learned about myself. Because I was half of the equation, and I got to learn and grow. He gave me this last one gave me the greatest degree in the legal system than I didn't really think I wanted at that time. But now I'm able to help a lot of people. So.
Yeah.
I like what you said, Becky. We have a friend at our church, and she and I were even talking this morning. Her word, she always says, you have to be willing. You have to be willing. And so she and I were talking this morning at church about how true that is. I mean, for whatever, any progress you want to make in your life of any kind, you have to be willing. And then once you're willing, you need to obey. Because we're talking about how we pray to God for instructions and direction, and God help me and help me. And then when he sends you something, you have to be willing, and then you got to be willing to do the work.
Well, I mean, I have to say that's how I was too. 5 years I lived in Hawaii, and I was not willing to leave. Like, I was, even though my girlfriend was like, Becky, don't you think God has somewhere else for you to be? And I'm like, no,
I'm good.
And so finally, when I became willing that day, I remember very distinctly going, okay, God, send me wherever. And then bam, he brings me 5 days later, this beautiful man, and says, guess what? You're leaving the island. And I'm like, but I had to be willing to submit to that and be open to that direction. And then, like you said, take action. And because I was willing to do that, our parents all the time, my mom and his parents are like, oh my gosh, it's been such a miracle you guys got together. And I'm like, well, it's really because we were open and willing to trust again.
Right.
And that can be tough for a lot of people.
That's right.
I think I was just at the point, I was just like, well, it's over. It's done. I knew when she was gone, she was gone.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I got to move on. I got to do something, else with my life.
Yeah.
So
and you guys have children. I know, Paul, you have at least a daughter, and so you have other children.
I have 4 children. I have 3 boys and a girl in that order. Okay. And I have 5 grandchildren and a 6th one any day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
A little girl on her way. So
wow. All right. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And
Becky,
I wasn't able to have children. So in both of I had 3 miscarriages, my first marriage, and then my second one, that wasn't an option. So Yeah. So that's not something I brought into the relationship. However, I get to support him and his kids, and our grandkids are amazing.
Yeah.
They're just beautiful.
Cool.
And, there's challenges in any family. So we've got them too. And what I love is that his granddaughter, when I first met her, she was 6 years old, and she thought I was the funnest thing, right? When I first came into the picture, it's like, I don't want grandpa. You're not going to cuddle me to sleep. Like he's done her whole entire life.
Yeah.
Hospital to my home.
Yeah. So he raised his granddaughter. And so, we're both putting her to sleep and stuff. And she goes, Becky, I don't want grandpa. I said, look, it's both of us or none of us, which would you, because I'm not playing that game.
Yeah.
We're a team, and you're going to know that we're a team.
Yeah.
And so she's,
but she got you too. She got you because I told Becky, I says, you're going to fall in love with this little girl before you fall in love with me.
Yeah.
And one of the nights that we were putting her to bed, I said, thank you, Alex, so much for letting me into your life. And she goes, well, you chose.
So we crack that joke once in a while.
Yeah.
You chose.
You guys have a very similar story to ours because Cheryl and I don't have any children together. However, I have 3 daughters, 3 granddaughters, and a great grandson.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah. So
the best when you can spoil and send them home.
Absolutely.
I just think being a grandparent, Cheryl, you don't have any children?
No.
Yeah. So isn't it the greatest that we got to kind of like skip all of that heartache and like now be able to be this great, not that I always wanted to be a mom. I always did. But being a grandparent is so much fun. It's so much fun.
She's really good at it too. It's amazing for never having a child how good she is with kids. My grandkids will literally they want to go spend time with her before me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you little turd.
Well, I have to tell you our story here when we come back. We got to take another quick break. We were late before and now we're late again. So it's all my fault. You guys are doing great. We'll be right back in just a moment. All right, we are back with the I Am Love Builder show, Casper and Cheryl. And we have our special MVP guests in studio, Becky and Paul Reimer. So we my middle daughter has special needs. And she came to live with us about it's been 20 years ago now.
Wow.
And it was interesting for that dynamic to take place. But fast forward to today. Now, Cheryl and I will never be divorced over somebody's dead bodies, but don't know it's going to happen. But
that's how we feel too.
Exactly. But if we were to get divorced, my daughter would be like, "Well, see you, Dad. It's nice."
Aww.
I'm not kidding you. My grandkids they think she is she is awesome.
You guys' little phrase that if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. I think Casper, when you and I met, I'm like, that's been my motto for literally 15 years.
Right.
And so his granddaughter, now she's almost 8. I mean, she's just like, Becky, your name is Becky Fun Rhymer, you know? And so I even told her when I picked her up at school the other day, I'm like, tell the counselor what you call me. She goes, Becky Fun Rhymer. And then once we got married, she's like, you're Becky Boring Rhymer. I'm like, oh, I'll show you boring. Like, no more arts, no more fun, no more park. You know what I mean? But I grew up with a mom who is very creative, and I grew up at a summer camp for kids. And so to me, I'm always looking for activities that are meaningful, that are bringing, you know, whether it's arts or art therapy or cookies and he's an amazing cook. He's taught all of his kids how to cook and grandkids. And so, but I think that's why they're like, oh, I'm just a lot of fun because I always have activities going, you know, it's like that.
Yeah, I think her growing up in that camp, their property over here, I think it's just promoted that, and she had to keep those kids occupied at their camp, you know.
I was the cool camper counselor, so I'm just a cool grandparent.
There's some camp stories, but we probably shouldn't share those on.
Well, guys, share with us. You've been married for almost 2 years now. And so it sounds like, Becky, have you always been doing coaching, or is this new?
No, I started coaching back when I was getting divorced. My first husband. So when I started losing weight, I hit my goal weight, got divorced, quit my job, all in the same month of July 2010. Wow. And I didn't know what I was going to do. So I had a total life reset. And that's when I reached out to a girlfriend of mine to be on her TV show. Actually, she wasn't my girlfriend at the time. I just happened to be connected to her on Facebook. And she's like, well, I can't get you on the TV show that she was on, but she goes, you can come on my radio show. And so I ended up guesting there for a couple months. And then she turned the show over to me to be a guest host. And I did that for 2.5 years, and then did more and more and more. And then just started speaking and coaching and a lot on Facebook. Yeah, that's what kind of catapulted me into that. And it's just recently that I've switched to divorce coaching, because I realize that there's people out there that really struggle understanding their legal process. And so many people that come to me and wish I would have known you when I was going through my divorce. So I'm like, all right, yeah, I need to, because statistically 44% of women coming out of divorce end up in financial poverty. And I'm like, I know it's because they don't know their rights or know how to fight for those rights. Now, my husband, on the other hand, I tell this all the time on podcasts, is he was married for 27.5 years and was left with 21 cents in the bank.
Wow. Wow.
So it happens, again, not because we want people to get divorced. Right. However, in the process of it, when it's inevitable and it's going to happen, at least know what your rights are, so you know. And that's something that we are very passionate about. And I did it through subpoenas. That was one of the things that I did to uncover any assets. And it was actually his fault. I'm always going to tell him it's his fault I started this company doing subpoenas for attorneys, because we realized that there was a niche where attorneys were not doing subpoenas where they need to. And I'm kind of, it's kind of my superpower.
Well, in our case with my granddaughter, I had hired a lawyer, and I asked him to do a subpoena on my ex, and where I knew she had paid for some stuff for my son. And I was trying to show he wasn't fit to take this girl, because he wasn't at the time, for sure. And, he says, I'm not going to do it. And I says, yeah, you are. I hired you to do it. He goes, well, I'm going to charge you this much. I'm like, I don't care what you charge me. Do it. Yeah. Because I knew it was going to show what I wanted to see. And
so the subpoena process it helps uncover stuff going on. I don't quite understand.
So it happens in any kind of court situation, and mine just happened to be because that's what I used it in the divorce. But when people are not compliant, you go through a process where you ask for discovery, and then they don't give you what you want. And so at that point is when you need to go subpoena it, which means you go straight to the organization, the bank, the organization, the school, the police department, whatever you need the information. And within 2 weeks, it's a court order. lawyer, so they have to give you back the paperwork. So you stop asking the other party for it, and you just go subpoena it. It to me, I wasted a lot of time in my own court case up against 5 attorneys. And I finally just went and subpoenaed, and that gave me the leverage that I needed. So when we had this situation, we did it, but the 18-year paralegal messed it up. And so I gave her the instructions on how to do it correctly. And she's like, how do you know this? I'm like, this is what I do.
It went through just like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
she resubmitted it with what she told her, and it was done.
And so he turned to me, he's like, you have to do this.
Like, this is ridiculous. Why aren't you just doing subpoenas for these lawyers?
Yeah.
Well, we've got one segment left. We come back. We want you to unpack the subpoena process a little bit more, so our audience has a good understanding about it.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. You're watching I Am Love Builder Show with Casper and Cheryl. We'll be right back in just a moment.
How many of us wished we bought Bitcoin early? We hear it all the time after the latest huge price surge. I wish I'd gotten in sooner. I wish I'd stocked up before the price took off.
Crypto markets are in the green this morning as Bitcoin hits yet another record high today.
The truth is, the real path to crypto wealth isn't chasing big price jumps. It's getting coins early and frequently. How? Mining. Mining gives you coins. Early Bitcoin adopters built their wealth by mining, and big banks and investors keep doing it, expanding their wealth and squeezing you and me out. Also, traditional mining comes with massive upfront hardware costs and sky-high electricity bills. But there's a better way. Meet Texit Coin, a new decentralized coin mined in Texas.
All right, we are back with the I Am Love Builder Show. Casper and Cheryl. We have our special MVP guests in studio with us, Paul and Becky Reimer. And so Cheryl and I are on the front end of this conversation. You know, we're trying to end divorce. We're trying to stop it from happening.
Good job, guys. I'm serious.
Don't go that.
Divorce is an ugly thing.
Yeah,
it really is. It destroys families. It's a horrible thing.
Yes.
But we do understand that there are some situations where it just is inevitable.
Yeah.
Like that where we were saying willing. And if two parties aren't willing to work at it or to work on it or make the changes that are necessary, then you end up down that path. So share with us what it is you do, how it is that you help. When it gets to that point where reconciliation is not there, what point do you pick up? Do you get involved, and what is your process to help?
Yeah. So when he turned to me at the beginning of this year and was like, "You need to help people with subpoenas," that we obviously launched our business in helping. So there's two different sides of my business. And one of them, I believe, is knowledge is power. So that's why I started the podcast called Divorcing Strong, which is all about empowering people with their rights of, understanding the legal process. So that's one of the things. And then the other thing, so divorce coaching. So if people really come to me, I can't give legal advice because I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a paralegal, but I do help people through that to know what their rights are, where to research in their jurisdiction or in their state, what they can do. I also am going to be starting, that's a program that I'm going to be starting called The Gathering, which is where people going through divorce, it's actually going to just be women at this point that come together and where we can support each other. I do one-on-one coaching, which I do have a client right now. She's in a crazy situation, but it's all about staying calm and knowing strategically what to do next and how to navigate through that legal system. And then obviously if their attorneys are not doing the subpoenas and they'd like to order subpoenas, they can do that. But I work directly for the attorney doing them. And I'm 1 out of every 3 subpoenas comes back non-compliant. So even in the case with Paul's case, their paralegal, it didn't go through. Well, it didn't go through because of non-compliance. So when they work with me, it's 100% compliant or they do not pay.
And most of the time it's compliant. Like
Yes.
she's very,
I'm a bulldog.
yeah, she's very strict about her stuff. And I just want to say the reason I love what she does, and this is the honest truth, the reason I love, and I tell her this all the time and I tell people this all the time, is that if you're trying to hide something, you don't want this woman. Seriously, if you do not want a subpoena happening if you're the person hiding something.
Yeah.
It helps the people who are disadvantaged. So a lot of women coming out of divorce, just statistically, are usually the ones that don't know much about the financials. And so I had a lady call me the other day, 58 years old. And she's like, Becky, I've raised 6 kids and I don't have any information. My husband stepped out. He wants to stay with his girlfriend, wants to end the marriage. I don't have any education. I don't even know where any of the accounts are. You know, that's where, now, obviously I always tell people you don't subpoena right out of the gate. It's a it's more of an aggressive move than just doing it through peace building. My degree that I got in Hawaii is peace building, mediation, and conflict resolution. So I believe in doing the best that you can to get the information without having to go through the subpoena route. However, if that's where you need to go, then it is an option and something that's available for them. So it's, but interesting, many years ago, I wrote a book called Love Like a Lady, and it was everything that I learned that real men were looking for in relationships. And I always said to people, I'm like, the more we understand who we are as women and the more we understand as men and be able to work together in that goes a long way in making relationships work. And I really am grateful now that I get to experience the relationship that I always dreamed of when I was a little girl. We talked about it. We both used to write letters to each other or write letters to whoever our spouses were, when we were teenagers. I have 2 journals that I wrote to when I was younger, because I just had always wanted a relationship that was worth fighting for. And
I didn't write it. I just prayed for it. Yes.
Well, you guys are getting some good comments online. Shar was saying she loved your story. Nice to hear from friends and others who's going on. And then Tiffany, very useful information for those going through the challenges.
Yeah. And I always love to, even on my podcast, I love to tell people to not give up hope, because, it can be very, I was single for a long time. I always joke with him. I'm like, 6 weeks. Come on. That's nothing. 8 years and I was single and I dated so much, and it's so hard out there, but I do want to give hope to people that there are really good men.
Yes.
And there's opportunity even later in life to find love and to be able to feel what it's supposed to feel like.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
All right. So we are at the tail end of the show. Any final words you guys want to share with us before we?
I've talked more.
I'm just so happy to be with somebody who loves to be with me. I tell people this all the time. I'm like, it doesn't matter if I'm building fences, if I'm chopping wood, if I'm going hunting. It doesn't matter what it is. My wife wants to be there with me. And that is, for me, a huge thing, because my ex, she was always trying to find excuses not to go to family activities, Christmas parties, Thanksgiving, things like that. I would be there with my kids by myself a lot of times. And it's just so reassuring to have somebody that wants to be at those parties, wants to go camping with me, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. She wants to do it. And that is I mean, we've bucked hay together. We've cut fence posts together. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. We garden.
Because you're having fun. You're having fun, so you're doing it right.
Yep.
Well, and he's a gardener, and he's a master gardener. And I last year started recording all of him and his wisdom and everything. And I started going, maybe we should call this like growing together, because that's what it was. Yeah. We were growing together as we would weed, and as we'd start putting the garden together, we really truly were, putting those seeds out there and then nurturing it. And that's how a relationship is built.
I love it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. It's been a blast. As I told you, it goes fast, but you guys are awesome guests. We really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Cheryl and Casper. And thanks for what you guys do.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's important.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Hey, folks, you've been watching I Am Love Builder Show with Casper and Cheryl. Our hope is that you become MVPs, most valuable partners in your relationship, because we know that if the husband's working on himself and the wife's working on herself together, you guys come together, you have an awesome, happy, healthy marriage, and you start having fun.
That's right.
And at the end of the day, if you're not having fun,
you're
not doing it right. We'll see you guys on the next show.